You think you're failing at changing your habits because you lack discipline. You're not. You're failing because you're trying to force a new person to act like someone they're not while still being the old version of yourself. That's exhausting, and it's why you quit every time. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't have a discipline problem. You have an identity problem. And until you shift who you are at the core, no amount of motivation will stick. Most people approach transformation backwards. They say, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., or I'm going to hit the gym 6 days a week, or I'm going to build a business. And then they fail. Not because the actions are hard, but because their identity hasn't changed. You're still the person who hits snooze, who skips workouts, who procrastinates. You're trying to install new software on old hardware, and the system crashes every time. Here's what actually works. You reprogram your identity first, then the behaviors follow naturally. This isn't motivational fluff. This is psychology. Psychologist James Clear talks about identity-based habits. The concept is simple. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. The more votes you cast for a new identity, the more that identity becomes real. Not fake it till you make it energy. Actual neural rewiring. I'm about to give you the complete 90-day blueprint to reprogram your identity from the ground up. This isn't a challenge, it's a protocol. By day 90, you won't be trying to be disciplined. You'll be someone who doesn't need to try. Let me show you how this works. The framework has 4 phases. Days 1 to 30, identity definition. Days 31 to 60, micro-commitment stacking. Days 61 to 90, environmental lock-in. Then beyond day 90, autopilot maintenance. Each phase builds on the last. Skip one, and the whole thing collapses. Let's start with phase 1. Days 1 to 30, identity definition. This is where most people screw up. They say, I want to be successful, or I want to be fit, or I want to be confident. Those are outcomes, not identities. An identity is a label you give yourself that dictates behavior automatically. You're not someone who wants to work out. You're an athlete. You're not someone trying to build wealth. You're a builder. You're not someone working on confidence. You're someone who bets on themselves. Here's your first task. Write down 3 identity labels you want to embody. Not goals, labels, examples. I am disciplined. I am a creator. I am someone who finishes what they start. These aren't aspirations. These are declarations. You're not becoming these things. You already are these things. You just haven't voted enough times yet. Now here's the psychology behind it. Your brain filters reality through your self-concept. If you see yourself as lazy, your brain will find evidence everywhere to confirm that belief. Confirmation bias isn't just about politics. It's about how you see yourself. But the reverse is also true. If you declare a new identity, your brain starts looking for proof that it's real. You're hacking your own perception. Days 1 to 30, your only job is to cast tiny votes for your new identity. You don't need to run 10K. You need to put on your running shoes once and walk around the block. That's 1 vote for I am an athlete. You don't need to write a novel. You need to write 1 sentence. That's 1 vote for I am a creator. The action doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be aligned. Here's what happened to me. I used to see myself as someone who started projects, but never finished them. Every abandoned idea was another vote for that identity. One day, I wrote a new label. I am someone who finishes what they start. Then, the first, picked the smallest thing I could finish. A 500-word blog post. I finished it. 1 vote. Then, a week-long workout plan. Finished it. Another vote. Within 30 days, I had 30 votes. My brain stopped seeing me as a quitter. The identity shifted before the big results showed up. Phase 1 takeaway. You're not trying to become someone new. You're collecting evidence that you already are. Micro-actions, repeated daily, reprogram belief faster than any motivational video ever will. Now we move into phase 2, days 31 to 60, micro-commitment stacking higher. This is where the votes become automatic. You're no longer thinking about casting votes. You're building systems that vote for you while you sleep. This is habit stacking, but done at the identity level. Here's the difference. Normal habit stacking says, after the first brush my teeth, I'll do 10 push-ups. Identity-based stacking says, after the first brush my teeth, I approve I'm disciplined by doing 10 push-ups. You're not just stacking actions. You're stacking proof of who you are. Every action reinforces the label. Your task for days 31 to 60 is to create 3 micro-commitment stacks tied to your 3 identity labels. Example, if your identity is I am disciplined, your stack might be, after the first wake up, I make my bed immediately. After the first make my bed, I write my top 3 priorities for the day. After the first write my priorities, I do 5 minutes of focused work on priority 1. 3 actions, each taking less than 10 minutes total, all proving the same identity. I am disciplined. Here's why this works. Psychologist B.J. Fogg, who created the Tiny Habits method, discovered that behavior change happens easiest when you shrink the action to its smallest form and anchor it to an existing routine. And you're not relying on motivation. You're relying on sequence. Your brain loves sequences. Brush teeth, make bed, write priorities. It becomes automatic because it's always in the same order. But here's where most people fail. They stack too much. They say, after the first wake up, I'll meditate for 20 minutes, journal for 15, work out for an hour, then meal prep. That's not stacking. That's suffocating. Your brain rebels because the commitment feels massive. Keep it micro. Each action in your stack should take 5 minutes or less. The goal isn't to do a lot. The goal is to prove your identity so consistently that doubt disappears. I'll give you a real example. Someone the first no wanted the identity. I am a creator. Their micro stack was simple. After the first pour my morning coffee, I open my notes app. After the first open my notes app, I write one idea. After the first write one idea, I close the app and move on. That's it. 3 steps, 90 seconds total. But after 30 days of that tiny stack, they had 30 ideas written down. Their brain started seeing them as someone who creates daily. The identity became real because the proof was undeniable. Phase 2 takeaway. Micro-commitment stacking removes the decision fatigue that kills most transformations. You're not deciding whether to vote for your identity. You're automating the vote. Now we enter phase 3, days 61 to 90, environmental lock-in. This is the most underrated part of identity reprogramming. You can declare a new identity and stack micro-commitments, but if your environment screams the old you, your brain will default back. Your environment isn't neutral. It's either reinforcing the new identity or sabotaging it. Here's what I mean. If you say, I am healthy, but your pantry is full of junk food, your couch is facing the TV, and your gym clothes are buried in a drawer, your environment is voting against you. You're fighting friction every single day. But if you redesign your environment so the new identity is the path of least resistance, transformation becomes inevitable. Your task for days 61 to 90 is environmental redesign. Go through 3 areas: your physical space, your digital space, and your social space. Physical space. Does your environment reflect your new identity? If you're disciplined, is your workspace clean and organized? Or is it chaos? If you're an athlete, are your workout clothes visible or hidden? If you're a creator, is your creative tool, your laptop, your notebook, your camera, the first thing you see when you wake up? Make your environment scream your new identity. I'm serious. If you want to be a reader, put books everywhere. On your nightstand, on the coffee table, in your bag. If you want to be fit, put your running shoes by the door. If you want to be productive, remove your phone charger from your bedroom and charge it in another room. Redesign the space so that being the new you is easier than being the old you. Digital space. What's the first thing you see when you open your phone? Is it social media? Is it distractions? Or is it aligned with your identity? Change your home screen. Remove apps that don't serve the new you. Add apps that do. If you're building a business, your home screen should have your task manager, your notes app, your financial tracker, not TikTok. Your phone should feel like a tool for your identity, not a portal to your old habits. Social space. This one's brutal, but necessary. Who are you spending time with? Are they voting for your new identity, or are they dragging you back to the old one? You don't need to cut people off, but you do need to be conscious. If you're trying to be disciplined, and your friends mock you for waking up early, that's friction. If you're trying to build wealth and your circle only talks about spending, that's resistance. You need to add people who reflect the identity you're building. Join communities. Find accountability partners. Surround yourself with proof that your new identity is normal. Here's a personal example. When I first decided I am a builder, I realized my apartment didn't reflect that. My desk was cluttered. My bookshelf had novels, not business books. My phone was full of games. I redesigned everything, cleared the desk, replaced the novels with biographies of builders, deleted the games, added Notion, added a finance tracker, added a project management app. Within 2 weeks, every time I looked around, I saw a builder's environment. My brain stopped fighting the identity because the proof was everywhere. Phase 3, takeaway. Your environment is voting for or against your new identity every second. Redesign it so the new you is the default, not the exception. Now we hit phase 4. Day 90 and beyond, autopilot maintenance. By day 90, if you've done phases 1, 2, and 3 correctly, something interesting happens. You stop thinking about being the new identity. You just are. The votes have added up. The micro-commitments are automatic. The environment reflects the truth. You've reprogrammed. But here's the trap. People hit day 90, feel amazing, then stop. They think, I've made it, I can relax. And within 2 weeks, they're back to the old identity. Why? Because maintenance isn't optional. Identity isn't a one-time shift. It's a continuous loop. You don't graduate from voting. You just vote with less effort. Your task from day 90 onward is simple. Weekly identity audits. Every Sunday, ask yourself 3 questions. Did my actions this week reflect my identity? Did my environment stay aligned? Did my social circle reinforce or challenge my identity? If the answer to any is no, adjust immediately. This takes 10 minutes, but it keeps you locked in it. Here's the psychology. Your brain is always trying to return to baseline. It's called homeostasis. Even if your new identity feels amazing, your brain will nudge you back toward the familiar raw. Weekly audits interrupt that nudge. You're reminding your system, no, this is who I am now. This is baseline. I'll give you the framework I use. Every Sunday evening I open a note and write. This week I proved I'm disciplined by, and I list every action that voted for that identity. Made bed every day. Completed my 3 priorities daily. Didn't skip a single workout. Then the first write. This week my environment supported me by, and I list environmental wins. Workspace stayed clean. Phone stayed distraction-free. Then the first write. This week my circle reinforced my identity by, and I list social proof. Accountability partner checked in. Joined a community of builders. Had a conversation about goals with someone aligned. If the first can't fill out one of those sections, I know something slipped. And the first fix it before it becomes a pattern. This 10-minute audit has kept me locked into my identity for over 2 years now. It's not discipline. It's just proof, reviewed weekly. Phase 4 takeaway. Reprogramming your identity isn't a 90-day sprint. It's a 90-day shift, then a lifetime of low-effort maintenance. The audit keeps the shift permanent, so here's the full blueprint compressed. Days 1 to 30. Define your identity with 3 labels and cast tiny daily votes. Days 31 to 60. Build micro-commitment stacks that automate those votes. Days 61 to 90. Redesign your environment so the new identity is the default. Day 90 and beyond. Run weekly audits to stay locked in. That's it. No motivation required. No willpower needed. Just a system that reprograms who you are at the core. Here's my question for you. What identity are you voting for right now with your daily actions? Are you voting for the person you want to be? Or are you still casting ballots for the old version? Drop a comment and tell me the one identity label you're claiming today. Subscribe for more frameworks that cut through the motivation BS and show you what actually works. Let's reprogram.